How's it going, everybody? So I'm working here on a little scenario, and the scenario is going to be shown, of course, in the HTML5 interface, but I'm using temporarily a Flash version just to see how it unfolds. And my events for this scenario, of course, are fake because I'm not trying to show how I can monitor things. I want to show how the internal relationship works, and the demo that I'm creating should not be prone to interaction between the demonstrators, because if I have two people demonstrating at the same time on real infrastructure, then one mistake from one guy can cause the demo to fail in another region of the world. So some of the demos need to be very, very repeatable, and that means that their initial stage needs to be very, very fake, except for the application responses. So what I have so far is a two-stage configuration that I done, and I built a view and everything else, and I'm just running the events here in my OBM console. And previously, I created a rule that would create a correlation between network activity and the speed event, and also another rule, the amount of users with the suspected DDoS attack. So there it is, it reacted and everything is good. So right now we are going to progress stage number 3. So now stage number 2 is almost over. I guess it's still sending events. It does, yes. So let's see, we still have the network activity reaching percentage, but we still didn't get the performance. So let's see what we get. So this is transaction performance, and it should be like APM related, but there we have site scope to an NMI. Both the site scope and NMI in this situation are fake, but the correlation worked. And the correlation worked the second time. So when I was designing the rule, and it's a TBEC rule, the idea is that the rule that you create for CI types of the same sort can be repeated on other CI types as long as they are the same view. So for example, this correlation of those two events actually created the correlation for those two without me interfering, which is super nice. But now I need to create another correlation. So right now I have this thing. I have the amount of online users. I have the high DDoS attacks expected, but I also have a DB transaction log, like unusual count of DB transaction log. So what I want to do, I want to correlate them in a way that would include the DB transaction log as the symptom of the high load. Okay, because we know that during high load, the DB gets locked more than usual for read writes. So we need to relate those two. So how am I going to do this? Well, I'm going to actually correlate those two events by just selecting them and right-clicking them in the Flash-based GUI, which is going to be solved in the next release, but for now we're using this. And I'll do relate events because I don't want to wait for it to finish for next time. I select the open correlation rule wizard, and I select the high load to be the codes. Okay. So first of all, it took care about the visuals here in the event pane, and you see there is like a correlation chain or cause symptom that was created, and everything you see is very, very good. However, that doesn't mean that next time it happens, it will happen. I still need to create the rule, and this is the rule wizard. It too allows me to select which is the cause, like here, and which is the symptom. And of course, I can create a rule that includes more than 2 events, but I work in douplets because it makes my life a little bit easier. And then I'll go and create a correlation rule, and all my correlation rules start with digit 1, just because the GUI is a little bit slow before we move to HTML5. And when I browse the huge amount of rules that already exist in the system, I don't want to browse too much. I just want to see that all of mine are on the top. So when I started with 1, it would be, my rules would be at the top of any list. So I'll say it's the shop scenario, of course, and then I'll describe exactly what's going on. So I'm going to say it's going to be DB transactions. No, not transactions. And you see how slow it is. I need to remove several characters over here. Ah, that's so slow. That's so slow. That's okay. This is why we're moving away from Flash. And this is the Adobe Flash that I installed myself, so it's slower than the one that you have in Chrome. Okay, so ShopDB locks to a suspected DDoS. Okay, so basically, in the role name, I describe what's going to be correlated to what. So DB locks are correlated to the DDoS, while the DB locks, of course, is the symptom. Okay, so I say that the role is active, and then it shows me the topology, how it all relates. Very, very, very nice, and I click finish. All right. So now I need to click close because I can create multiple rules, or I can edit this one, or enhance an existing one. Okay, fantastic. So now I have this, and I can actually progress to stage 3. And I'll just send the stage 3 events over here to see how it all reacts. So now in stage 3, some of the events would be automatically closed. I think, if I remember correctly, oh, that's not all of the stage 3. There is a lot more going on in stage 3. So let me add it here to the list of events. Stage 3 includes like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 actions, 9 events. So there we see that the related events starting to be closed. And acceptable. That's good. We were aiming for that. And now let's see how it all unfolds. So all my relationships, all my correlations are actually, well, they disappeared. Okay, so what happens in batch 3? The batch 3 basically closed all of my events, and I need to recorrelate them. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to correlate the speed to the Tomcat once more. So let's see which Tomcat is that. I'll just double click it. Apache Tomcat 15. 15, it just means that the scenario repeats every 15 minutes. Okay, so basically the customers would get to see, I don't know what people show here, how CIs will look like, how the operation works, how the closed loop incident process looks like when it's operated from OBM, but it's not a monitoring demo. Okay, so that's web 1. So which one was it? That was this one and this one. Okay, so I'll create another relationship over here, just one, and it's going to be again an NMI for the Tomcat. And the previous rule did not apply because the health indicator states are different. The HIs are different. Now I can enhance a rule, I guess, maybe. Let me see, maybe it will pull up a rule that exists. Oh no, it's already normal, yeah. Okay, so we'll create another one. And we will say, okay, shop NNMI rule for stage 3. Basically, it means that we already have a rule for NMI, but this one is for stage 3. Or maybe I should do a better job in describing, putting descriptions for what I'm doing, but since I'm running only demo environments without production, they're pretty empty of content usually, so that allows easy navigation, easy enough, let's say. Okay, and we close. So that's one correlation that needs to happen. And another, of course, is the, let's see, transaction login performance. Okay, we don't need to touch it. We want to relay the DB locks to what was it? DB locks are related to Where is it? What do I want to relate it to? Result transaction login, security scan complete, DDoS. I'm not sure what to relate to it. Let's see that I got my two additional machines over here. The machines were created. That's part of the whole scenario. Now, DB logs previously were related to what? They were related to DDoS. So we'll relate it to DDoS once more. So we'll relate the events, and DDoS was subordinate. So it means that this one would be the cause, this would be the symptom. We'll create a new role. Let's put it this way. We have a new role. And it's basically going to be a repeat of an existing rule. It's just because my events are not really updating, they're just creating new events that close old events. It kind of makes this all a little bit more confusing than the normal operation would be. What I gain by that, I gain stability in terms of scenario, because I needed to repeat every 15 minutes, no exceptions. Okay, so we have ourselves a shop, and then we're going to say, what was a DB log for step 3. Okay, for step 3. Oh, that's also. Oh man. Okay. We say that it's active. We look at the beautiful something over here. I'm not sure that we have beautiful something over there in terms of topology, and we say close. Okay, those two are related. What's missing? Those two would be related as well. And now I need to see what happens when I run batch number 4. So batch number 4 is just notifications for automations. And my scenario says, well, you have service degradation, severe service degradation, then security check kicks in. It verifies that it's not a security problem, but actually a real user stampede over the servers, right? And then we expand it with 2 additional web servers. We see it in the top view, and then it just winds down to normalcy. And the correlations that we create are actually very important, because they make sure that when the scenario ends, all of the events are resolved. All of the events are resolved. So let's see. So we're not creating a rule for this one specifically. That's going to be like a manual step that we're going to ask the users to do. So users will just go in this HTML5 interface. They'll select all 3 rules, right-click them, and they'll say relate. Now, this is very important that they will relate by themselves, because when they do it, okay, we need to select the top event, which would be what? Which would be security scan complete. Yes, this is the unique one. So we select it, we say relate. This is the new relation wizard. And we see that they are all related, which is super nice. And now the last step of our scenario, that's just to check that everything works, would be to actually run the whole shebang of step number 5. So there it is running, it is kicking, and if everything is fine, we should see a result that practically marks everything as resolved. That's what I'm expecting to get. So there's our normal events. Let's see another normal. That's another normal event, and that one closed the correlation. Now, because this is a run that includes the creation of the rules, it's not going to be perfect, because some rules, as you saw, they work in multiple occasions. But when we create it, we create only one occasion, just one node. So, for example, load balancer and Apache Tomcat, I'm not expecting them to get closed by this thing. But when I'm running it the next time, it should work properly. So we will see how it goes. And probably, oh no, actually I'm closing all of them. So without their correlation rules, what happens is that there are like 4 events remain unsolved. And this is not a good thing when you work with monitoring tools, because when unsolved things you need to investigate. And what OBM does for us is actually preventing you from doing that, because it has those correlations and the ability to close things that already resolved. So definitely a good thing. So there is our scenario. It ended with everything back to normal. Fantastic, fantastic. So that's where we're aiming for. And yeah, so this is how you create correlations, and this is how they work. Because when a correlated event is closed, the cause event is closed, then all the symptom events are closed, even if they don't get positive events for themselves, which is fantastic, because now you need to take care about less dependencies in your infrastructure monitoring or your business monitoring. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Please subscribe for more. Thank you so much for being with us.